Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm outside in the garden this afternoon and I thought I would share with you what I'm getting up to outside. So I've got a few little things that I'm going to be planting today in the garden, and I've actually just started pre-sprouting a few more ranunculus. This is what they're looking like at the moment. Just put them all in a tray here and I was soaking them just in a little container like this. I had a little bit of bad luck with some of the other ranunculus that sprouted. Some of them just actually went completely moldy, and that's due to all of the rain and the humidity levels that we were having. So many other places in like Sydney and south of Sydney have been dealing with really bad mold problems, and that's something we have also been dealing with, trying to keep airing the house and get as much airflow in as we possibly can, putting the aircon on, things like that. But when you're starting to pre-sprout bulbs and like sprout seeds, it can be a really big problem because too much moisture can lead to things just rotting. So unfortunately, some of my really nice ranunculus corms went a little bit moldy, but I do have a few more and so many in here. So I'll share with you actually some that have sprouted that I've planted in the boxes in the garden. So I've planted a few corms in these two boxes here, and thankfully I do have some coming up. So I've got one here that is sprouting, another one here, and one more. So I am really glad that I did at least get a few, because these ones were quite expensive, but I am planning on planting a lot more. I just really started these in the wrong time. It's perfect to get them in at that time, but just our temperatures and the weather was just way too humid to be starting them indoors. But thankfully, I still have a few. So along with a lot of the other garden maintenance jobs that are being done around me right now, we might hear a little bit of that throughout this video. I'm going to be doing some planting in this patch here behind me. So this is my permaculture zone 1 patch, where my main goals are for it to be, one, really beautiful because it's really close to the house and we look at it every day. And also I would like to provide as much food as I can for myself and for the pollinators and habitat around me. So we have things like the bird feeder, I have a bird bath, and I've tried to create just a really nice, well-functioning ecosystem in this area. And a big part of that is including things like flowers. So I think I'm going to plant some snapdragons and poppies to start out with, and then I might get some more radishes in the ground, because I harvested a really nice bunch of French breakfast radishes the other day. I'll pop a picture up on the screen of what they looked like, because they just were so beautiful, and I'm so excited to actually roast them tonight with our dinner. So I definitely need some more of those in the ground so we can enjoy some more radishes. So you can use any type of soil to cover the ranunculus. I'm using potting mix here because it's really nice and well draining, and that's really important because obviously we don't want any mold over these. So I've just put a really thin layer over them so that hopefully they are not going to go moldy and have too much moisture in it. This soil already has some moisture. You can see it's sticking to my hand, so I'm not going to add any moisture. I also was soaking these for a few hours in water, so there should be enough moisture in here for now. The sun is still really bright this afternoon, but this is the area here behind me where I had a zucchini growing. It didn't really like it. Again, it just hated all of that rain that we were having, so I pulled it out, and I'm going to be planting some snapdragons around here and some poppies. So I have the snapdragons at the end of this little tray here, and I have a little cell of orange poppies here. So I'm going to just plant kind of like a wavy line of poppies, I think, and some snapdragons at the back. They grow a little bit taller. I think they're about 60 centimeters tall, and they're just a snapdragon mix. And the poppies don't grow too tall either, so I think they'll be a nice little combination with each other. These you can plant both of these right now. Snapdragons and poppies are pretty hardy. I think they can handle light frosts, both of them. I really doubt we're going to get any heavy frosts here, so these should be fine over winter. But before I get any of these in the ground, I need to prep the soil a little bit, and how I'm going to be doing that is just aerating it with a garden fork and also applying some dynamic lifter here. You just want to remember every time you're growing something in the garden, you're taking nutrients out of that. So it's a good idea to have a think about what plants might like food before they go in the ground. Snapdragons and poppies like a little bit of fertilizer. And if you do have really healthy soil with a lot of organic matter in it, you're going to have a lot more flowers and the plants are going to be a lot stronger. So I'm going to prep that first before I plant the plants in the ground. Alright, that is all of the snapdragons done. You can see I kind of did like a little bit of a line through there, and I think that I want the poppies to travel over in this line. So I'm going to do a line of those in front of the snapdragons, and hopefully they will look good together. Alright, now that the poppies and snapdragons are planted, I am going to actually be planting some more plants slash bulbs in the 2 boxes behind me, the ones that have the ranunculus in them. It's the cockatoos forever. So in the boxes, along with the ranunculus, as they pop up, I'm going to be planting some of these. These are Grape Hyacinths. I'll put a picture up on the screen of what these look like. They're really, really cute, and I think they will kind of add a nice little blue pop of colour with the ranunculus flowers. I've also got a mix of violas that I'm going to plant around in the boxes as well, kind of in between the hyacinths. And I also have some anemone bulbs that I have pre-sprouted, or corms. I'm not too sure how you refer to these, but I'm going to be planting these in the same pot as where I have the bay leaf tree. I think that'll look really nice around the base of them, and I might even put some more violas in there, kind of alternating between the two. I've just pre-sprouted these along with the ranunculus, so they were in there for about 3 hours or so, and these can be directly planted out. I've never grown either of these before, apart from the violas, but I am excited to see what these look like, and hopefully they grow okay. I don't think any of them actually made it on this side, so I might actually get some of those ones that I was pre-sprouting and add them in here. Yeah, I can just find when it's really mushy and rotten, so I'm not going to plant that one. Yeah, I might have to get a few replacements for this one because I think the bandicoot actually got in here. Hopefully these do a little better. I'm only going to do a few in here and just see what they look like. I think I want to save the rest of these for and just put them in a pot by themselves, in a nice terracotta pot, or maybe with some other bulbs. So last is my terracotta pot. I'm going to plant anemones around the base, but you can see kind of on a little bit of a slant, so I need to fix this up first. Alright, that's a bit better. So this is what anemone corms look like when they've been soaking in water. And I always get confused about these, but everyone says to do the pointy end down. Oh, sorry, wormies. I'm gonna lightly break up the soil and then plant these in. I will also be feeding this with some liquid fertilizer, just because it's in a small pot and you really regularly need to be feeding your pots, because this is all the nutrients they get. They're not getting anything from the surroundings. But it is good that I do see a lot of worms in here, so at least there'll be some good worm castings for the plants to take up. Recover it with a bit of mulch just to keep the moisture in, and then give all of the things that I planted a nice feed of some seaweed fertilizer. I think I'm going to decide against planting some more radishes today. I'll do that another day. I just have a few other things I want to get done in the garden. But one of those is I want to fertilize my seedlings. And I thought I would just go over how I do that in case you're not aware or you're not fertilizing your seedlings, and why you might want to consider it. There's a few different reasons why you might want to fertilize your seedlings, and in particularly if you're using a seed raising mix, they're designed to not have a lot of nutrients in them. When the plant is a seed, it is really sensitive to nutrients, and they can technically get burned, is what they call it a lot of the time, where the plant gets too much nutrients and that can actually kill them. But if you're like me and you grow your plants in seed raising mix and then plant them directly into the ground rather than potting them up a lot of the time, I just prefer to do that because it's just one extra step that I don't have to do. Then fertilizing your seedlings is a good option to be able to provide that plant with a little bit more nutrients than just the seed raising mix while it grows up a little bit more, so it's a stronger plant to then be able to be planted into the garden. So there's different stages of when I would fertilize my seedlings, and usually at the moment I'm doing it once a week. I use just the seaweed fertilizer. You can get this from pretty much any hardware and Bunnings and nursery. This is one of my favorites to use. And I dilute it in one of these little tiny cans with a smaller spout. That way I can really accurately water the seedlings from the base of the plant. Or if it's in a tray, I can just water the base of that, and then the seed punnets will take up that moisture from the base. I only use a tablespoon of this per watering can. I'm not too sure on the ratio of what that is, but just using a small amount is best, and regular feedings every week or two is generally recommended. The stage at which I do water my seedlings is when I start to see really strong true leaves. So there's different stages of kind of the seed embryo, I suppose. And the first few leaves that you see of a plant when it comes up from a seed are called Cotyledons, and they're not actually proper leaves yet. So you can see on this chrysanthemum here, I'll show it up kind of close. All of these seedlings have their true leaves, those little ferny spiky ones. And these ones down the base, those little baby leaves, they're the cotyledons of this plant. So this is a really good stage of when I do regular feedings of the plant, because at this stage of the plant they're a lot more stronger, they have a lot more leaves, and they're developing a complex root structure, so they're more likely to need nutrients to take up to be able to grow all of those complex things that the plant is doing. It's also properly photosynthesizing now with its true leaves, so it's putting a lot of energy into growing, and these tiny little seed punnet cells don't have a lot of nutrients in them, so that's why I like to fertilize my seedlings. This is another example here. These are little carnation seedlings, and you can see either side of them, these bottom ones here are the cotyledons, and the true leaves are coming up now. So this is a really good time to fertilize these seedlings, which I've been doing. Something that I'm not going to fertilize right now, I sowed these broad bean seeds in one of my last videos, and you can see it's popping up now, but it is just only popping out of the soil. I started seeing this come out just yesterday, so these leaves are really fresh, they're really young, so I'm going to let this grow up a little bit more before I start to fertilize it, because what I want it to do right now is just focus on getting up out of the soil. Extra fertilizer may overcompensate for that and not do it any good. So I'll fertilize this when it's starting to come out a lot more and the leaves are a lot larger rather than at this stage. And because we've been having a lot of rain, I'm probably just going to fertilize a lot of the other plants as well, just to give them a little bit more extra nutrients, because all of this rain has just leached out a lot from the surface and I want to replenish that back into the soil here. So I think that took about 5 watering cans just to water this little patch, which was nice and easy, but it definitely pays off in the long run to fertilize your plants and make sure that you're always constantly putting back into the soil if you're ever growing anything, which is just taking it out of the soil. So I think I might leave the video here. We're just taking the cats out for their afternoon little supervised walk. So I'm going to go and supervise them. And I might pick some beans from the garden for dinner. But I really hope you enjoyed this little afternoon in the garden with me. Hopefully the surrounding mowers and whippersnippers weren't too distracting. That is just the nature of everyone else having a garden. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and until my next one, happy gardening everyone. Bye.